Good News Outreach in Tallahassee, Florida, with Executive Director Cheval Breggins.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Cheval Breggins, Executive Director of Good News Outreach. We're just glad to be able to talk to you today. One of the things we're going to talk about, and the only thing we're going to talk about, is our Mercy House or Reentry Program. So a little bit from a macroscopic perspective regarding the reentry program. So the reentry program is for men and women who are leaving correctional facilities and re-entering the community. Right now, we have two locations. We have a location for the women in Frenchtown and a location on the northeast side of town for the men. We're able to have 11 men participate in the program at one time and 6 women participate. So it's a one-year program. And obviously the goal is for the men and women to become reacclimated into the community. Within the first 30 days, they will seek employment. We have other services that are offered. Substance abuse counseling. We're doing some trauma-informed training and trauma-informed counseling / therapy. Resume writing, and so we provide assistance based upon the need of each individual, and we tailor it to them. Like I said, it is a one-year program, so obviously the ultimate goal is for each man and each woman to be self-sufficient, so they can leave our program, secure housing, and be able to support themselves. I have someone who works even more closely with the men and the women, and I want to bring her in. Her name is Desiree Andrews. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing?
I see my mic is mute. I said, praise him, praise him. How you doing?
I'm well. I am well. I want to bring you in because you work even more closely with the men and the women in the reentry program. So I want to give you the opportunity for you to share, a little more about the program from your perspective.
Okay, well, certainly, it has been an experience really working with them and the men and the women. I started with the women, and at the time we only had it was one woman brought in two. By the time I got there, we had like 2 women, and then we brought in a third, and it has really been an exciting ride. Um, and I would say this program, though the women's program is newer than the men's program, um, I would say that basically we have some learning curves that we've experienced, and some learning we've gone through, and um, it is still a challenge, but it is still a challenge that we're up for, because we want to provide for the women and the men that are coming out. This is their second chance. And so we strive to help them in everything that we're doing, helping them to.
Oh, we're experiencing some technical difficulty right now. Uh, so hopefully we'll be able to get that corrected. And Miss Desiree
There we
Andrews will be
go.
able to join. There she goes. That's what happens. See, we love technology, but technology is never perfect.
Right. Well, it's okay. It's all good. And I always say when you have difficulties like that, that means it's something good in store.
Okay, well, we received that.
So as I was saying, with the program, it's always challenges, but we are up for the challenge. One thing we want to stress to the men and women who are coming into reentry is that this is their second chance. So when you come to our program, when you come to Mercy House, it is not like it's another prison sentence. you will actually have the freedom to move about and to come and go. We do have rules. We do have regulations, and we, want people to stick to those and everything. But we're just want them to understand and to know that this is their second chance. This is their opportunity to reconnect with family, to find gainful employment, to basically get their life back on track. And so with that, we definitely encourage them. If they want to go back to school, they can go back to school. We help them with all the things that they need in order to be successful. So it is a good program. It is, I think I heard you say that it is a 12-month program. And so we want you to want them to understand that it's not mandatory, but it is a good thing if they stay the whole 12 months because they get the full benefits. By the time they leave our program, they will be able to stand on their own sufficiently because we encourage them to start bank accounts, save money, so that when they do have to go out and get an apartment on their own, and they're well able to be able to pay that rent, have a first month security and deposit. That's what is required now a lot of times, and be able to afford living on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Desiree, you mentioned a couple of things made me think about one of the grants I was writing, and to get clarification for men and women exiting the correctional facility, I had to ask the question, are they considered homeless when they exit? And they had to think about that. And they said, yes, they're considered homeless until they actually secure the housing or get to your program and enter the program and actually enter the program. And so often I know you will hear someone is leaving a correctional facility, and we do we do get men and women from correctional facilities across the state. As they will ask, they will say, I need housing, or I am working with someone who needs housing. And you've said that it is the Mercy House reentry program, so there is a program component to it. So there are some expectations, some guidelines, because we work through the Department of Corrections. Obviously, there are some rules and regulations that we have to follow. One of the programs or services that is offered, and I've seen you render these, is a life skills
yes.
curriculum and course. Can you talk a little bit about that particular program or aspect of the program?
Definitely. So the life skills program, what we call criminogenic life skills program, that is or training. What we do is it's like 5 to 6 weeks, and sometimes it goes a little bit longer based on whether or not we have to take a break, or there's some other things that pressing needs that come in. So basically the criminogenic life skills training helps them we take them through the 8 steps, and I'm not going to really get into the whole program right now, but we take them through the eight basic criminogenic needs and help them to understand that with this, there are some decisions that they have to make in order to not fall back into the things that they did in order to get them locked up in prison in the first place. So we're trying to reduce recidivism by going through the 8 steps. And of course, because we are a faith-based organization, it is a faith-based training as well. However, it is not, we don't, like you said, I always tell them, we do not shove religion down your throats, anything like that, but it helps to solidify. And a lot of them are very receptive to it. So it helps them to think about their behaviors, their triggers. It helps them to think about different things, their emotions, how their emotions affect their decisions, how connecting with people from their past, connecting with even sometimes with family. With family, sometimes you have to make a separation, but then how to rebuild and to not get back into that habit the bad habit, but to really think about some of the things that they are doing so that they don't fall back to it. We've had some successes and we've had some failures, unfortunately. But the thing about it is, we want them to make sure that they recognize, they're able to recognize. And I've had some of the women that says, I thought about what you said and we were just talking about this and I was able to recognize it. So that's a good thing. They're taking heed to the things that are being taught, and they realize that it's up to them in order to implement the things that we're talking about, and their decisions ultimately, because they're the ones that's going to have to maintain this lifestyle in order to keep from going back to prison, in order to keep from being everybody has temptation, and so at some point we have to be able to recognize that temptation and not fall back into it, whether that be the substances or family, friends, significant others.
And you touched on the a couple of things that I think are important for every listener or viewer, and that is number one. You talked about the temptations, right? And when they come out, and like you said, we all have challenges and things that can easily draw us. So one of the I get this question all the time, and people talk about the participants, the men and the women, where they always say, well, where was their home? Is Tallahassee their home? And I tell people, 99% of the men and women who come to us are not from the Tallahassee area. I say, there are already some of the general temptations. So it's when you talk about having friends in the local area, those it's easier for you to slide back into those temptations. And given what you've already described with our program, we're not a lockdown facility. Yes, we do have a curfew, but we've already talked about the fact that the men and the women, we expect them to seek employment, to go to seek additional or education, or to further their education. They do have contact with family members because, again, is part of the process is to reunite. And you talked about that. It is a process. They leave a correctional facility. For a lot of them, the world has changed a lot, depending on how many years
Yes,
they were in the
definitely.
correctional facility. They may have gone in, there wasn't a cell phone. Now they come out
Yes.
and we know what the world is like. So the world is completely different. Don't know anything about an email. One of the new participants said to me, I didn't know anything about an email. And I got set up with the email, and I'll learn how to work my email. So with that process, and one of the expectations that we have of the men and the women who enter the program, we mentioned employment. So I was at a conference a couple days ago that was hosted by the Capital Region Career Source, and they spoke on the world in which we're living right now, and how, as organizations, whether profit or nonprofit, the talent pool and who we're seeking. One of the areas that was highlighted that the first speaker spoke to, he said, you're missing out on the second chance employees. He said those who have been in correctional facilities. And so he honed his presentation in on that specifically. So my question to you is, I know we've already mentioned that that the men and women must secure employment. What challenges are you seeing or observing, any challenges that the men or women are experiencing in seeking gainful employment?
Good question. But I would say the main drawback for gainful employment that they're having would be themselves, because a lot of the men and the women that have gone out and actively sought employment were able to obtain a job quickly. I've had women that got out, and I told them, I'm like, well, you have, this window. You can take your time and, get back into society. 2 weeks within the month, begin to look for employment. I've had women that within that first week have come back and said, I found a job. And then I've had, some of the men that would come back and, 2 months later, 3 months later, they still didn't have a job. I know there's differences, men and women in the jobs that we take and everything, but there are jobs out there. Mm-hmm. And with a lot of the jobs right now, a lot of them, I'm not going to say they don't care that you have a record, but a lot of them are forgiving of that. So they're willing to take the chance. They're willing to hire them, employ them. So I think, like I said, I think the main thing is their own willingness. So we've had some that have, like I said, had successes, and they've gone out there and literally split. They've gotten jobs.
Okay. Okay. Because I know you and we were at a career fair at one of the correctional facilities. It's about an hour away, and one of the other vendors was a construction company, and that's who they wanted. It was a male facilities, but they wanted men and women to come to them. So, like you said, we do have some, and probably more than some organizations and companies who are willing to hire the employees that have a second chance. All right, so we can sort of get to the conclusion with this question. It's the question you and I always receive. So, Good News Outreach, how can I in the community, other than praying for you, I will give you money, how can I be of assistance or donate to Good News Outreach? Or the question is, what do you need? What does the program and the participants need? What can I do?
Oh my. So with the reentry program, really it's a lot, but it's not a lot. It's a little, but it's not a little. Okay. So I say that because the needs are varied. It depends on the person, the time that they want to volunteer, the time that they want to, because you can be a mentor to them and help them along, because I can't do it all. We do have counselors that come in, or will start to come in, and to help them. That is always available to them. But there's sometimes, they don't want to talk to me, or they don't want to talk to a counselor. They may just want to be able to talk to someone. So if you want to be a mentor, you can be a mentor. But then some of the needs that they have are definitely clothing. We cannot house or store clothing. As much as we would love to, we do not store clothing, but because we had a whole lot of clothing at one time, and we just didn't have any place to put it. But when they come out of prison, some of them, especially the ones that do not have family in the area, that's the first thing that they need. They need clothing. They need suits or dresses for, number one, job interviews. And then number two, they need everyday clothing. They need shoes. We give them the basics, like, hygienic things that they have needs of. We give them the basics with that, but they need shoes. And one of the things that we're looking into is as well, not that it is a big need, wallets, pocketbooks. We went to one of the churches that had a clothing closet, and the women would, I didn't think about this, but they saw the purses, and so they were getting the purses there too. So just some of the feel good things, a little jewelry or some things like that could help. And so those are the main things, because like I said, we provide for them. But basically in the houses, they have a lot of things of what they need. But then even in the houses, there are some needs there that we know, because what we're finding, what we want to do is make the environment that they come to, make it like home. We know it's not their permanent home, and it's not, their home, but we want to make it homey. If you want to say, we want to make it feel like home. So I know some of the women have asked for decorations, and I went out and bought a little bit of a few decorations and everything like that. One of the women that came out, she, while she was incarcerated, she was into horticulture, so she has plants all over, and it's really nice. The men, there's the homes there, they need curtains, they need, or shades, blinds. So there's other things that people can help with, because we can't do it all. And if we had all the money in the world, we would be able to, but money is a resource and it is very limited. So we need people to donate. And if you donate, we like the unrestricted the donations, as you say, that way we can put it towards what is needed. So we have the, things that are needed in the homes, things that are needed for their personal, and they appreciate it. I mean, I bought them, the men just bought them some rugs for the bathrooms, and they were so appreciative of that. So it's the little things that, we take for granted, because we've had access to it all the time, but it's those type things that, the household items and things like that. Also, other thing is, if you have phones that you are no longer using and you don't mind donating, and we can unlock in order to give them, because some of them that are coming out, they do not have cell phones. Some of the programs, that they enter, certain programs that they are in when they're incarcerated, if they had into a certain program, that they will be receive a cell phone when they leave. But many of them have not been in that program, so they come out and they struggle for a little while. Now we do have phones, house phones in the houses, but nowadays you gotta have a cell phone for employers and all that to get to you, and texting and this things like that. So if you have cell phones that you don't mind parting with, that is also a big help.
Okay. Yep. Sound good. That's the one I was thinking of. I was going to flash up this. I said they don't walk out with one of these most of the time. And a couple other things regarding the program, because we get these questions from the community and even within the reentry community. We have to let most of the correctional facilities know this, but if someone comes to us and they say, "Well, so you will accept anyone who's been a correctional facility?" And the answer is no. So we do not accept a person who had who was a sexual offender, has sexual offense charges. We do not accept people who have what we call hardcore criminal charges. So if you start talking about looking at like manslaughter, murder, would fall into that. And like I said, most of our participants do not reside or have family friends in the Tallahassee area. And again, we've talked about that. So there are some restrictions. There are other reentry programs who will take anyone. Yet we do not do that. So I think with all of that being said, you've heard a little bit about the program. You've definitely heard about some of the challenges. You've heard about the needs, whether they're tangible, intangible, and they could vary depending on who comes in from person to person. So, with that being said, I want to thank Desiree.
Well, before we go, and one other thing, what area that we found, we try to help as many people as we can, but again, those also added to the list who we cannot serve are those that have mental challenges, because we have found that we're just not capable. Yes, I am a counselor as well, but that goes beyond me, and so some of these things we cannot handle, unfortunately, and we don't have the resources in order to give them the help that they need. So that is one of the population that we cannot.
Right. Yeah. And when you hear that term, some of the mental challenges, we're thinking of the situations that would probably require a psychiatrist or a psychologist on staff 24/7. And so we've learned through our experiences what we're able to do or not do. Anything else you want to leave us with?
I think that's about it. I would say basically the way they contact us most of the time for reentry, it is through their classification officer, and they will get in touch with us. The process, we leave applications with them. We do have an application process that they have to go through. So they fill out the application, we review it. If we feel that they could be a good fit for Mercy House, then we proceed with then setting up an interview to talk with them. From there, we've gone to some of the reentry seminars, the fairs, and we let them know and talk to them about that. From there, we just prepare for them to get ready. Again, some of the things that we provide and others can help donate would be like bedding, sheets, and just the basic hygienic needs. Because we get that everyone that comes in, they get something new. We have the shower caddy, we have the clothes baskets, so a lot of those things. But those things you can find on our website that will help you to make a decision as to how you can best help us. And so if you would like to, you could go to our website goodnewsoutreach.org, and then you have all the programs that are listed there, and you'll be able to select Mercy House Reentry, or it'll actually say Reentry, and it'll take you to the Mercy House page, and it will let you know exactly how you can help, what the program is about. And so we encourage you to connect and reach out to us. You can contact anyone that wants to submit an application. The application is online. You can download it and then email it back to us. And of course, you can email it back to info@Good News Outreach, and I will receive it, and then we go through our review. So we have people that say, I have an emergency release, and we can take people who have been incarcerated, who have been released from prison for up to a year. So if you're within that year, and state prison, if you're within that year, they can still apply, and we will go through the screening process, which we do have, and it is once a week. We have a review once a week. So I have people that, midweek or towards the end of the week, I have somebody and I need to, and I can't give you an answer right there until we go through our review. So just want to know, just be patient with us. Right now, we are filling up for the women, but we do have a waiting list. So if there's someone that is waiting or looking to get out, and the men are filling up fast too. So I would say it's like a first come, first serve. And it kind of is, the applications, we look at it as they come in, but they also take into consideration the release date. So a couple of the men, although they are not here, their release date isn't until October. But since they have already applied, we have saved their slot. So, we want to encourage you though. It is a good program, and we're working out all the kinks and the bugs and all that, but everyone so far has nothing but good things to say about it. So we just thank you for your time. And again, go to the website, and you can find the application there if you would like to apply.
All right. Well, she gave you the website, goodnewsoutreach.org. She gave you the email, which you can contact us at. The email is info at goodnewsoutreach.org. So not only can you learn about the program, not only can someone fill out an application, it's also another opportunity to contact us, and we'd be more than willing to come in and talk to anyone whether it's, talk to your organization. We don't care, and we will talk about that program. Even if you notice something, another program, we can talk about another program. If you want us to talk about good news outreach overall, we can do that too. So we can tailor a presentation to your needs. So again, I just want to thank Desiree Andrews, who's doing an excellent job working with the men and the women in the reentry program, along with other duties as a side, right? Because she has many, they were hidden talents, gifts, talents, and knowledge, skills, and abilities. They are no longer hidden under a bushel. They are out in the light now, and we're just glad to have her and for her to be able to just step in and contribute. And really, like I said, we are a faith-based organization. We're doing the ministry. So I want to thank Desiree Andrews for telling us about a lot more about the reentry program. And I want to thank all of you. And we all will look forward to hearing from you. Time, talent, treasure is always something you can give. And if you don't have not one of those three, you can always pray for the people who are being served, the people who are rendering the services, and which would include all the team members, volunteers, and board members. And with that, be blessed.
Thank you for joining Good News Outreach with Executive Director Cheval Breggins. Until next time, be blessed.